let's jump straight into the meat and potatoes of this channel. What is non duality? And what does it even mean? For starters, non duality comes from the Sanskrit word advaita, which means not to. And this is the ultimate understanding that there is no such thing as separation or division between us and anything in our experience, ranging from other people to plants, animals, and even objects like this mug. That consciousness is simultaneously the witness and substance of all experience, giving birth to a body, mind, and a world, at least apparently. So, in short, we can say that all is one. However, you may begin to ask yourself, how is all one when I clearly see differences and our experience seems to dictate a dualistic nature? And some examples of duality would be up and down, black and white, hot and cold, male and female. I could list hundreds of examples, but I'm sure you get the point. And while this is true on a surface level, non duality points at the underlying interconnectedness of all things, while duality simply allows us to understand our experience. For instance, we couldn't understand pleasure without pain or light without dark. And I would assume that most of us, especially at least the ones watching this video, that we intuit already there's something that unifies or connects us. But non duality goes even a step further to show us that there was never even separation to begin with. And the only separation that we actually experience has all been constructed through labeling in the mind. And this labeling comes as beliefs, ideas, concepts, and I'll even add egos. When we begin to remove these labels from our experience, we begin to see that everything simply is. So, if one wants to begin embarking on the non dual understanding or spiritual path, one of the very first things that, and most important thing we need to do is ask the question, who am I? And something interesting takes place when we ask ourselves this question. And we may start by saying something like, my name is Jay. I am a brother and a son. I am a vegan and I like long walks on the beach. Now, in reality, this is just a story that goes on in our head. When we actually begin to investigate thoroughly this fabricated sense of I or me, we never actually find it. And this is typically when we start to get into meditation and see that we aren't our thoughts or feelings and emotions, Hell, we aren't even a body or a mind. All these things that I mentioned are constantly shifting and morphing. But what we are essentially always remains the same. It never changes. It stays aware and present through all of these changes, but never itself actually changes. And this investigation of who am I leads to what is commonly known as enlightenment or awakening, which is simply consciousness or awareness recognizing itself. And recognition is the act of remembering. So we're not becoming anything in this process. We are simply remembering who we already are. And even though I may suggest that we are consciousness or awareness, and even in religious language, we can use the term God, the answer has to be experienced to truly understand it. If we don't experience it, then non duality just becomes yet another belief system or religion. And this investigation of who we are is actually something that I help guide others through by a non-dual teaching known as the direct path, where we go directly to the essence of who we are, skipping all the theatrics. If you'd like to know more about this teaching, then leave a comment below or add me on Instagram and message me, which you can find my handle in the description below, and we can talk. I can go over my own methodology regarding this teaching and see if we are a good match to begin working together. And in the broadest sense, non-duality cannot be practiced. It's usually facilitated by a guru or a teacher who has already achieved this understanding. But that doesn't mean that one cannot obtain or reach this understanding by themselves. And to those, I would simply suggest meditating or contemplating on the question, who am I? So, in conclusions, non-duality means that everyone and everything gets their seeming existence from one being or one indivisible whole. And each of us are that one. That the only separation there is through beliefs, ideas, concepts, and egos. That's all I have for this video, guys. I really do hope you found this useful. If you did, feel free to drop a like, a share, or even subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Just keep your heart open and remain present.